Good evening and welcome to the Beaver News. I'm Conrad Cartmell.
And I'm Dana Delgado. Up first tonight, Nathan Hellman and Holly Clausen give us a close-up look of what it's like having a disability and navigating the OSU campus.
Good evening and welcome to Need to Know, where the Beaver News digs deeper into the issues that affect you. I'm Holly Clausen.
And I'm Nathan Hellman. Risk is an inherent part of daily life for each of us. From the moment we all wake up in the morning, we engage with a series of risks. We step in the shower, drive to campus, and cross streets to arrive at our classes. But the fact is that any one of us is just a mere misstep away from a life-changing disability.
We took a tour of OSU, during which we experienced some of what it was like to have a disability.
Our tour departed not far from this very spot, at the corner of 15th and Jefferson, right outside of Furman Hall. We began our tour by heading up to the Valley Library by way of this ramp. Note the steep incline of the ramp and imagine the physical strength it must take for someone in crutches or in a wheelchair to get up or down safely. Also, take note of the side slopes of the ramp, which present yet another challenge for people with limited mobility.
Aside from the danger of just getting around, individuals with disabilities face the additional challenge of time. For example, what might take our crew 30 seconds to get up this ramp might take somebody in a wheelchair up to 5 minutes.
Here in Stagg Hall, we made our way through the building in simulated blindness. Naturally, the elevator at the end of this pathway represents the sole point of access for individuals with limited mobility to Stagg's upper levels. It's also worth mentioning that that elevator does not even go to the 4th floor.
This pocket of space is the sole entry for Stagg's only elevator. Needless to say, it is extremely difficult for one to get around in here. Additionally, looking at the sides of the elevator's interior, you can only imagine how difficult it is to move once inside.
The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 enacted requirements ensuring equal access to facilities such as those at OSU. In our tour, we experienced some of the burdens that not meeting those requirements is placed squarely on the shoulders of those who live with disabilities.
We spoke with Director of Disability Access Services for OSU, Martha Smith.
So from the perspective of you have a 150-year-old campus, and we've only had regulations in place about 23 years in terms of what does physical access mean. I think that we're doing some pretty incredible things. Have we resolved all the barriers? Absolutely not.
Smith pointed out that disabilities often refer to impairments that are not physical. For those types, she claims that OSU has taken steps to ensure their accommodation.
I think it's really important to understand accessibility isn't just around physical access, and I think sometimes that's missed. We're talking about access on our web pages, and how is that accessible to people who are visually impaired? That's an issue we're dealing with. You talk about access for people with hearing loss, and we have departments all across this campus who do little quick videos, including student government, and they place it on their website. And for our students who are deaf and hard of hearing, they can't access those videos because they're not captioned.
Next, we met with OSU's Director of Accessibility, Brian Williamson. Williamson is leading the Raise the Blue campaign, aimed at increasing local awareness around inaccessibility at OSU.
Accessibility is an issue for all. It's not just an issue for people with disabilities. This is something that can help you. Everywhere you go, accessible opportunities should await you. You shouldn't have to jump through hoops and barriers and this and that just to obtain an education. You know, the education aids the American dream. Everyone wants to be able to be successful one day, and an education is one step to getting there. So let's make everything accessible. Let's make it all people have equal opportunities regardless of your ability.
We know that individuals with disabilities face a number of challenges simply by having an impairment. Certainly, there are challenges in terms of effort exerted, time spent, and others. As we learned on our tour, it can also be a challenge to simply navigate the grounds of our campus for those with limited mobility.
When you're walking around campus, take a look at the buildings around you. Take a look at the ones being built. Take a look at the pathways. Take a look at everything. Start analyzing it from the point of view that maybe you may one day not be able to access everything that you're essentially used to doing day in and day out. You know, you're one accident away, as morbid as it sounds, from being to be visually impaired.
We'll keep you updated with more on this story as it develops. I'm Nathan Hellman.
And I'm Holly Clausen, and this has been What You Need to Know.
Yeah, that was really eye-opening. I never realized how hard it was to get around on campus with a disability.
Yeah, it's not easy. I actually took an Intro to Engineering class fall term last year, and for our lab, part of the assignment was everyone had to get in a wheelchair and make it back and forth from Owen to Kearney, and it was not easy. I'd say it probably took everyone 30 to 45 minutes to do.
Oh, that's a really long time. Those buildings aren't very far away either.
I know. Definitely something OSU needs to pay a little bit of attention to.
Yeah, definitely. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Everyone has friends. There's online friends, friends to go out with on a Saturday night, friends to hang out with and do nothing, friends who show up on moving day. And then there are the friends who'll be there if someone is dealing with a mental illness. Are you one of those friends?
Listen, I know you're upset, but it was just one date. And dating's like the stock market. There's ups and downs and ups and so always buy low.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Welcome back to the Beaver News. Our next show is one of our favorite segments where we go to Madeline Lee and Leah Williams for questions in the quad.
The Oregon State Chapter.
In college classrooms, you'll notice that students are constantly on their cell phones.
We talked with
of
Oregon State students today and asked them what their thoughts were on the cell phone usage in classrooms.
Well, I think it depends on what you're using your cell phone for. If you're using the internet feature on it, definitely for researching something in class, I think that there's a place for that. But for the most part, put your phones away. Like, you're here to get an education, you're here to learn something in class, and you're paying for those classes, So unless there's an emergency, I always keep mine on vibrate, and just in case there's something going on that I need to look at. But for the most part, put them away, learn something.
Perfect. We heard it from Ryan. Turn them off.
Turn them off.
It's up to the professor. I mean, if the professor doesn't allow it, then you shouldn't have your cell phone in class. But if there's nothing specified in the syllabus, then I'd say all for it. If he kicks you out, then you have to respect his teaching style, I guess. But, I mean, it's really up to the professor.
I think that it's a personal decision. If you need to pay attention, you probably shouldn't be using your phone. But otherwise, you can really do whatever you want.
Do you use your cell phone in class?
All the time.
From the teacher's perspective, it's pretty disrespectful. They're here to teach us, get us some knowledge, and it's pretty distracting for them as well. It also distracts your classmates, but if you do decide to use it, just sit in the back of the classroom. Don't distract your peers. That's my opinion.
To a point where it's actually really distracting, and I find myself I don't even know what the teacher just said. But you can't ban it. I feel like it's just something everyone just kind of has to deal with.
So you don't think teachers can have that as a rule? You just think that they just have to accept that students are going to use their cell phones?
I think so. I think if they try to ban it, they could, I don't know. I just don't feel like it'd be implemented well enough. I feel like people would just go away with it anyways.
Sometimes it's useful if you're actually using it correctly, if you're using it to research stuff, or if you're taking a class on certain types of literature and you're looking at different facts about that. I think that's important. Some people have jobs. I get emails all the time. Maybe class time isn't the best too, but some of it's really kind of stuff that I need to take care of right away. If you're just messing around, probably not.
I thought it was really interesting that we found that students thought that you shouldn't be using your cell phone in class because you're paying so much money for their courses.
Yeah, I honestly believe, too, that a lot of students realize it's a huge distraction in class. I, for one, I can't stand it when I'm looking at somebody's laptop or cell phone that's on Twitter or Instagram when I'm trying to learn about business and such.
I think, though, my personal belief that, if you want to use your cell phone in class, you should be able to. We're all adults, and if you think that's okay to do, then you should be able to.
Yeah, I do believe that. Well, I'm Leah Williams.
And I'm Madeline Lee, and this is Questions in the Quad.
Active Minds is the nation's only peer-to-peer organization dedicated to raising awareness about mental health among college students. Beaver News reporters Lindsay Spino and Alexandra Daly went to the Active Minds meeting last night to see how they plan their efforts in helping college students nationwide.
The Oregon State Chapter of Active Minds promotes education and awareness about the many different challenges that arise from mental illnesses. They meet every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. in Snell Hall, and all are welcome to attend.
Our meetings are every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And we have them bi-weekly, so anyone that's interested can come and join us. We do kind of different things every meeting, but something that is really interesting, people really like. We have Mental 5 Minutes, which our group members can decide on a particular topic that they're interested in or don't have enough information on, and we invite either therapists from CAPS or faculty from the psychology department. We've also had people in the community come and talk on those particular topics. We also have different opportunities kind of throughout the term that students can get involved in, whether they're activities or outreach events.
Active Minds is a national organization that provides peer-to-peer support and advocacy to over 100 college campuses around the country.
I think the most impactful thing that I've noticed from being involved in Active Minds is just the education that I've received from all the tabling and all of our meetings and all the different professors and professionals that come in and talk to us during our meetings and stuff, all the way to the national conference that we go to. We go to a national conference annually, and usually all the officers go. We've traveled to DC, Florida, Maryland, and that event is so huge, and I learned so much about mental health policy.
Many students join the club simply on a whim, but they often end up realizing the true impact Active Minds has on the Oregon State community, sparking their interest for taking on leadership roles around campus.
When I came to a meeting, I realized that it really was an important club and that had important goals to be met on campus, and so I became a big part of it and have been ever since.
What are some of those goals for Active Minds?
So Active Minds' goals are to raise awareness about mental health. We try and eliminate the stigma that influences people to eschew psychological treatment. We also have a main goal of preventing suicide on campus, so we do a lot of suicide prevention events. So this term we have Love is Louder coming up, which is an anti-bullying campaign. We also do National Eating Disorder Awareness Week. That's coming up in the end of February. And yeah, so that event is kind of a cool one because we'll collaborate with some other clubs and do some awareness raising.
Remember to keep your mind active. This has been Alexandra Daly with the Beaver News.
Stay tuned for more of your Beaver News when we get back from the break.
So you can't save money? It's easy as pie. Drink from the tap. A $3 bottle of water a day times 10 years times 6% interest is over 14,000 clams. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feedthepig.org.
Yeah. Dad, do you want to get the phone?
If you're ignoring your mortgage issues, things will only get worse. Call today, because nothing is worse than doing nothing.
Oh, never mind.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us.
And weather, our perpetually sunny correspondent, Aubrie Valentine.
Hey there, I'm Aubrie Valentine. Thanks for tuning in for this week's weathercast. As you can see, the sun has made his appearance here in Corvallis, and with it brought warmer temperatures and gusty winds. This week, I went out to the MU Quad to see what some students thought their perfect snuggle weather was. Let's see what they had to say.
Be sunny, but not too hot. So you could lay a blanket out and just kind of chill, have a nice little picnic.
Probably about as it is today, a little bit cold. Because then you can, getting pretty close.
Probably slightly cold,
cloudy,
misty,
rainy,
and foggy outside.
Snow on the ground outside, but not snowing.
Probably night, but a clear sky.
Negative 32 degrees Fahrenheit or so. Nice and cold, so you have to stay together, otherwise you're gonna die.
Rain can be good, but it's also bad. I don't know, depends on the room. If you've got a good view, I don't know. Snuggle weather.
Contrary to today, so far our week has been shadowed by cold fog and some rain. The drizzle that we've been experiencing might turn into a small snowfall Thursday, and then the weekend should be partly cloudy with some sun. But here in the Pacific Northwest, you never know what you might get. Next week, we look into how the weather affects students going to class. Thanks for listening. Keep your days glistening. I'm Aubrie Valentine. See you next week.
Do you ever struggle to find the perfect pair of shoes for an outfit? Our fashion reporters Stephanie Paul and Julia Camera talked with fashion merchandising managers to get their expertise.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Paul. And I'm Julia Cameron. This is Trending at OSU. This week we interviewed Emily Cooper and Saina Khosravi, two merchandising management students here at OSU, about shoe fashion.
We first took a look at casual athletic wear that you can usually see students wearing to class.
I like the Nike Free a lot for walking around campus. You know, they're so comfortable and they're so cute. You can get them in like any color, any pattern. I have leopard print ones. They have a lot of support and they're like flexible. You can get different like thicknesses, I think, in the soles that help with like the support when you're walking.
I like those ones the best though.
Yeah, they're really cute. Like Tiffany blue and black really go together really well.
And then these lovely
Jordans. These are my Jordans.
How much do they go for?
These were like, it kind of depends on like the exact style, that like the price, but these were I think like $150 online, and they were like a little bit cheaper because I have like a boy size shoe and they're a boy shoe, so they're cheaper than like a kid's shoe. A kid's shoe, yeah, because they're boy shoes. So.
And these are like the most famous Jordans. Like I feel like for your first pair, those are the ones you should get.
Yeah,
like,
I love the 5s.
They're the cutest.
What's the difference between all the Jordans? Because I know there's multiple.
Yeah, there's just multiple.
There's like numbers.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Like, why is that the starter Jordan?
I just think it's like the most basic and like the most common, and I like them the most because they're super comfortable. I mean, they're all comfortable.
Those aren't like the starter ones because those
like,
are the 5s. So they have like 1s, 2s, 3s all the way. I think the 11s.
What are we up to? Ones too.
I think it stopped at 23.
Yeah. 23. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have a pair like those?
Yeah, I actually love wearing my Nikes, and we're so lucky that we have the world headquarters so close to campus.
Oh my gosh, I know. I have a pair exactly like those, and they're so comfortable. They're so great to wear to class. I just absolutely love them.
Yeah, I love wearing mine, but since it's been so rainy these past couple days, I feel like I've had to wear my rain boots just like other people have.
I know. Emily actually showed us a pair. Let's take a look. Of course, we have the famous rain boots.
For Corvallis, since it rains so much.
Oregon.
Do you have any explanation for these?
Well, Hunter is like a pretty famous or popular brand of rain boots out here, especially in
who owns
Oregon. I have them. They're mine.
You have them? Yeah. How long have you had these for?
I've had them since probably like freshman year when I came out to OSU. I got them. I don't know. I feel like that everyone needs rain boots. I know.
Yeah.
I wanted another pair.
So they last for a pretty long time.
Oh yeah, I don't think they go bad. Like, what would you do to them?
I know, they're like literally they're like the best.
Rubber.
And I have like a cute little like thing that it's like a sock that you put in, and it's like leopard on the outside.
Oh,
it's cute. It's like fuzzy. Yeah, it's really cute.
Yeah, I like that. And then of course we have to have the going out shoe.
That's a definite staple in any college girl's closet.
And then these are super cute to go out in, like if you're going to a party or something. Not that there's many where you can wear these. They're super comfortable because of the wedges and stuff, and they give a lot of support.
I'm so glad Saina showed us those wedges. They're definitely the perfect alternative to the regular heel.
Oh my gosh, I know. And they go with everything. They go with dresses, they go with skirts, leggings, you name it.
Well, hopefully this segment helps you on your next shopping trip to find the perfect shoe. I'm Stephanie Paul.
And I'm Julia Cameron. Keep it couture, Corvallis.
When we return from the break, we'll take you out to the golf course to see what life is like for one student athlete at Oregon State.
These kids almost had a new community center. A contractor almost volunteered to build it. A carpenter almost worked on the crew. And everyone else almost gave at the fundraiser. They almost gave. Almost. And these kids? Well, they almost stayed out of trouble.
We take a break from the court and head out to the golf course with one of OSU's best golfers, David Fink. Here's Anna Singer.
Being a college student can sometimes be really stressful, and being an athlete only adds to that stress. But for one OSU student, getting away from the real world means spending a day on the course. And what would you say has changed the most about your game from your freshman year until now?
I think maturity. I think it's something that you can't really work on. It just kind of happens. And it comes with just the open-mindedness and the willingness to work and to learn. So I think just my overall maturity on the golf course and in life in general has kind of changed. I'm way more positive and upbeat now. I look forward to coming out here on these wet, cold, windy days. And it's crazy how kind of life changes when you do that. But I'd say just maturity out there, just kind of understanding that I'm privileged out here to play every day. I'm privileged to go around and play these great courses, go to Arizona last week, go to Hawaii next week, go to Palm Springs week. Like, it's just awesome.
Yeah. What is expected of a collegiate golf player during the summer?
During the summer is to improve, for sure. I think summer is the only time you get to really practice on your own. I know, people think of golf as a really individual sport, but we do a lot of work as a team here. Do a lot of team drills where we can't leave the course until we all finish, so we could be out here for 4 or 5 hours if need be.
What would you say, just for yourself, what are your biggest goals as an individual and then also with the team?
With the team, I think the biggest goal is to make it to nationals. We've made it to regionals every year I've been here. I made it to nationals my freshman year when I redshirted, and I really want to be a part of that. Really want to be a part of just the overall experience of going to nationals. For individual goals, but playing to get better every day, obviously is a goal, but also to better my product, I guess you could say, for summertime and for after summer when I want to turn pro and to carry on that career.
What would you say is just the best thing about golf? The best experience you've had with it maybe, or what keeps you playing every single day? For
someone like me who likes a challenge, I'm a really competitive person. I like to compete with everything, and golf is one of those things that's never tameable. Right. You can never go out there and just conquer golf.
Right.
Every day there's a curveball. That's one of the things about playing a sport outside, is every day is going to be different no matter what. Mm-hmm. And I think another thing that really makes me come back every day is just the opportunity to get better every day. Without each day coming back and getting better, there's no point in playing anything, I feel like. Golf is kind of that thing like music or food that you can kind of start new bonds with.
It was great meeting up with David, and really interesting to find out that golf isn't just a sport for him, but a way for him to make a new family away from his home in Hawaii. This has been Anna Singer with the Beaver News.
Have you ever thought about how much trash you produce? Ashley Van Pelt takes us inside the production of the trash monster on campus.
OSU's campus recycling, located on 13th Street, compiled 2 months of trash, of which an average student will throw away. Coordinator Adriana Norris pulled together student volunteers called Waste Watchers to help build a monster out of trash and recyclables.
The purpose of the Trash Monster is to raise awareness that Recyclemania has begun and that we have events going on, as well as to just be a very eye-catching display that we hope would make people think about how much trash they are producing personally, as well as thinking about, are there recyclable items that they're in fact throwing away that could be recycled? And so we're kind of using it as a way to raise awareness, to kick off the competition, get people aware of what's going on, and that we're competing to recycle and reduce waste.
It's Ariel's first time volunteering, and she says it's a shock to see how much stuff is actually thrown away. A lot of it becomes trash by not taking the time to put it in a recycling bin.
We're going through the trash bags and we're just trying to sort out what's recycling and what's trash. And it kind of turned into just sort of pulling out the recycling bits and then trashing the trash. and it smells disgusting. The worst thing that I found was, or smell-wise, was the tuna or salmon of some kind. That was just gnarly. And then disgusting rotting vegetables are horrible.
The campus recycling will compete with other universities over the next 8 weeks.
That takes place at large universities, and we use it as like.
I'm Conrad Cartmell.
And I'm Dana Delgado. Like us on Facebook, watch us on YouTube, or find us on Twitter @Beaver News. Thank you again, and see you next week.